Okay, so good day, class. So before we start with our lesson for today, let's have a short review of what we discussed last meeting. So last meeting, we talked about ions and its different types, in which we discussed that ions are charged atoms. So ions form because an atom or a neutral atom could gain, madadagdagan, or could lose its electron. Okay? So we have seen last meeting that ions have two types. So it could be cation, and cation is a positively charged ion, and it forms because of a loss of electron. So pag nabawasan ng electron yung isang atom, magiging cation siya, magiging positive charge. On the other way around, when we say an ion, it is a negatively charged ion, and it forms due to a neutral atom gaining one or more electron. So pag nadagdagan ng electron yung isang atom, neutral atom, magiging anion siya, and the net charge of that particular atom becomes negative. So aside from that, we also answered tables such as this one last meeting. So let's start. So number 1, so we have Si. So this is silicon. The element is silicon. The atomic number is 14. So therefore, the number of proton is also 14. So to compute for the mass number, we will add the number of proton and neutron. So 14 plus 14, the mass number is 28. Now, for the electron, as you can see, the charge is -1, meaning the number of electron is greater than the proton by 1. So, electron would be 15. And, as you can see, the charge is negative, so automatically, this one is an ion. Next, we have K. So, this is potassium. Ayan, so we have potassium. So, the number of proton is 19, so the atomic number would be 19. To compute for the mass number, we will add the number of proton and neutron. So 19 plus 20, that would be 39. Now, the charge. Now, we will take a look with the number of protons and electrons. So 19 and 17. So it means that the number of proton is greater than 2 as compared to the electron. So the charge would be positive 2. And this is an example of cation. Next, we have Ti. So Ti is titanium. Ayan, so we have titanium. The number of proton, so for us to determine the number of proton, let's take a look with electron. So the number of electron is 24 and the charge is -2, meaning that the number of electron is greater than 2 as compared to the proton. So our proton would be 22. Okay, so we could now already determine the atomic number, which is also 22. And the number of neutron would be 22 plus, 48 minus 22. The answer would be 26. So we have 26. And then, the charge is negative, so this one is an ion. And lastly, for the last element, so we have Xe. So this element is xenon. So the atomic number is 54. The proton is 54. So we could now compare the number of protons and electrons. So proton is 54, electron is 53, meaning that the charge of this particular ion is positive because the number of proton is greater than electron by 1. So the charge is positive 1. So this is cation. And the number of neutron would be mass number minus proton. So 131 minus 54, that would be 77. So if you are having hard time coping up with the discussion, so pwede nyo pong i-post yung video natin para makita ninyo or para may time kayo makapag-compute. So now, let's continue with our next topic. So, I would like to introduce our topic for today with a short warm-up activity. So the instruction is this: identify which of the following will be the next in sequence. So I'll be providing you, or I'll be showing you abstract reasoning questions. Okay, and then all you need to do is to identify or to know, or rather to tell, what will be the next in sequence. Okay, so let's start. So basically, number 1. So we have the pattern 2, 4, 16, and we have the unknown. So what would be the next in line? So is it 64, 128, 256, or 512? Now, the correct answer would be 256. Ayan. So this is the correct answer. 256. Why? 2 times 2, it will lead us to 4. And then 4 times 4, it will lead us to 16. And 16 times 16 would be equal to 256. Okay, next. Let's continue. Number 2. So we have the following letters. So we have J, F, M, A, M, J, J, A, S, O, N, and then unknown. So what would be the next letter in sequence? So the choices are letters A, B, C, and D. So the correct answer would be letter D. Why letter D? It's letter D because the letters here, the letters given here, corresponds to the first letter of the month. Okay, first letter of the month. So we have here January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and we have December. So it would be letter D. And the last one, we have number 3. So we have this illustration. So the correct answer, the choices are the following. So what would be the next in sequence? So obviously, the answer is letter A. Okay, so the correct answer is letter A. Take a look with the arrow, where the arrow points at. Okay, so now, after encountering this abstract reasoning questions, no, yung tinignan nyo yung mga sequence, now the question is this. How did you able to answer the 4 abstract reasoning questions? Now, the answer to that question is simple. We need to look first for pattern. Okay, so we need to look first for the pattern. And everything would comes next. No? So pag nalaman natin yung pattern or nakita na natin agad yung pattern, lahat po yon ay madali na nating sabihin. Okay, so yun po yung naging strategy natin para sagutin yung 4 abstract reasoning questions natin kanina, or rather 3 abstract reasoning questions. Now, how is it related to the periodic table? Now, since we are talking about pattern, the periodic table follows the same pattern. So, ibig sabihin po, the elements in the periodic table are arranged. Okay, nakaayos po sila according to specific pattern. No? So, ulitin ko, yung mga elements po sa periodic table ay naka-arrange the way how they are arranged to our modern periodic table because they follow certain pattern. And that would be what we will discuss for today. So we will try to identify the pattern that is present in the periodic table. Now, aside from that, as we all know, periodic table is our guide when we are talking about of elements, and it is quite similar to map. Bakit? Ang ginagamit po natin ng periodic table to know, okay, or to know more information when we are talking about elements. So, kaparehas po siya ng map in a sense na ginagamit natin yung map para po malaman natin yung information about the location of specific place. So, with that, we could consider periodic table as a reference. Pero, ang information na binibigay niya po ay about sa element. So, for today, as I said a while ago, we will try to discuss the pattern in the periodic table as well as we will discuss how we can use the periodic table as a reference in studying different elements. Okay? So, kasi para malaman nyo, para magamit natin yung periodic table as a reference, dapat malaman muna natin yung arrangement ng elements or yung patterns ng elements sa ating periodic table. Okay? So, our topic for today is all about the modern periodic table in which we will be discussing the following lesson objectives. So, number 1, we will describe how elements are arranged in the periodic table. Number 2, we will identify the various groups of elements based on its arrangement in periodic table. And number 3, we will use the periodic table to identify trends in elements such as reactivity and metallic property. So without further ado, let's start. So let's move on now with our big idea. So the general idea of our lesson for today. So the big idea of our lesson for today is that the way elements are arranged in the periodic table gives us an idea about their properties and chemical behavior. So ano pong ibig sabihin nito, class? Hindi po nagkataon, no? Hindi po random yung arrangement ng elements in periodic table. But instead, the way how they are arranged in our modern periodic table now follows a certain pattern. And this pattern has something to do with their properties and chemical behavior. Okay? So to cut it simple and short, nakaayos po ang mga elements sa periodic table dahil po it gives us an idea about their properties and chemical behavior. Merong pattern. Okay? So yun yung lesson big idea at yun po yung titignan natin. Aalamin natin yung pattern sa periodic table. So, questions to ponder before we start with our discussion. So number 1, what are the key features of the periodic table? So to answer this question, we will discuss how elements are arranged in periodic table. Okay? Makikita ninyo yung dalawang arrangement ng periodic table, yung kanyang vertical arrangement as well as yung kanyang horizontal arrangement. And then we will be encountering vocabulary words such as periodic law, group, period, representative element, transition element, alkali metal, alkaline earth metal, transitional metal, inner transition metal, lanthanide series, actinide series, non-metal, halogen, noble gas, and metalloid. So these are the vocabulary words or the words that we will encounter as we discuss our topic for today. Okay, so isa-isay natin yan mamaya. Ayan. So let's start with the general idea behind the periodic table. So as I said a while ago, periodic table is a reference. It gives us information about the elements. So we could say that the periodic table is a map of the building block of matter. And the building block of matter are the atoms. Are the atoms of the different existing elements in the nature. So the periodic table gives us an information. So that's why it is synonymous to a map because it gives an information about atoms of the elements. Yun po yung general idea. It's a reference about atoms of a particular element. Okay? Now, the periodic table reflects what we called as the periodic law, which is the repetition of chemical and physical properties of the elements when they are arranged by increasing atomic number. So now I would like you to take a look with our periodic table, and you can see that the elements are basically arranged in terms of increasing atomic number. Diba? So kung titignan niyo yung periodic table nyo, we started with the lowest atomic number, which is hydrogen. Number 1 ang kanyang kanyang atomic number, followed by helium. Ang kanyang atomic number ay number 2, followed by lithium, number 4. Lithium number 3, and then we have beryllium, number 4, so on and so forth. So the elements in periodic table are arranged in terms of increasing the elements in periodic table are arranged in terms of increasing atomic number. And because of that, pag inayos po natin lahat ng elements, existing elements in nature, in terms of increasing atomic number, meron po itong mabubuong pattern. Okay? So it will give us a pattern, and the pattern has something to do with the chemical and physical properties of the element. So, yung pattern nun, sinasabi sa atin nun kung ano ba yung behavior ng particular element. So, how do they react? Something like that. So, ano ang kanyang characteristics and properties. So, yan po yung sinasabi nating periodic law. So, tatandaan po yung idea ha, yun yung general idea natin. Na, first, elements in the periodic table are arranged in terms of increasing atomic mass, and when we do that, there would be a pattern about the chemical and physical properties of all the existing elements in nature. Okay? So, let's continue. Ayan. The modern periodic table contains boxes, 'di ba? I know you know that already. That contains the element's name, symbol, atomic number, and mass number. So ito yung for example, we have here oxygen. So this is the name of the element. We have here the symbol. We have here the atomic number. We have here the mass number or atomic mass, and into some extent, the periodic table, some periodic table gives us an idea about the state of matter. Diba? So as we all know, oxygen, ang state niya, it is in gas form. Okay? Now, the modern periodic table. Okay, in our modern periodic table, the elements are arranged in two ways. Which gives us two terms such as groups and periods. Now, pag sinabi po nating groups class, groups pertains to the column of elements. Pag sinabi nating group, how the elements are arranged from top to bottom. Yan, pababa. Okay, yung pababang arrangement ng elements. And pag sinabi naman nating period, period pertains to the rows of elements. So in short, yung positioning ng elements from left going to right. Ayan. So ito yung dalawang way on how the elements are arranged in the periodic table. Pag sinabi nating groups, ito po yung arrangement from top to down or the columns of elements. And lastly, we have the periods, which are the rows of elements, which describes the arrangement of atoms of the elements from left going to right. Yan, tatandaan po yan. So, didiscuss po natin yung groups and periods ng ating periodic table. Ayan. Representative elements, elements in groups 1, 2, and 13 to 18 possess a wide variety of chemical and physical properties. So, that's why they are called as group A elements. And the transition elements in groups 3 to 12 or the group B elements. So, nasan po yung mga elements na yan? Makikita po natin siya mamaya. Aside from that, the modern periodic table also tells us if a particular element is classified as metals, nonmetals, and metalloids. So, i-discuss din po natin yung descriptions and characteristics ni metals, nonmetals, and metalloids. Ayan. So, ano yung sinasabi natin kanina? So, example, take a look. Ito yung general pattern ng ating periodic table. So, lahat po ng columns of elements, ayan, yung mga pababa, from top to down, ang tawag po natin dyan ay family or group. Okay? So, top to bottom arrangement or columnar arrangement of elements in the periodic table are called family or group. So, kung bibilangin natin, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So, there are a total of 18 groups. Ayan, 18 groups or family in the periodic table. Okay? So, we will start first our discussion with families or groups. So, the vertical arrangement or from top to down arrangement of elements in the periodic table. So, ayan. So, let's start with the different families or groups of elements in the periodic table. So, ito po yung mga iba't ibang groups. So, we have the hydrogen. Ayan, ito ay isang group. Group 1, Group 2. Ito po, ang tinatawag nating transition elements mula dito. Itong nasa gitna, this is what we call as transition elements. Ayan. So, that is the transition elements. And then next, ito naman ay pang ilang grupo to in total. So, 1, 2, bilangin natin 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Group number 13. number 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Ayan. And then, yung yung nasa dulo, okay, ito naman yung tinatawag nating inner transition metals. Ayan. So, this is what we call as inner transition metals, which is the lanthanides. Ito, yung lanthanide series, and this is our actinide series. Ayan, so we have the lanthanides and then the actinide series. So let's start with the hydrogen. So kung mapapansin nyo kanina, yung hydrogen, meron siyang sariling grupo. No? So the hydrogen is square sits atop of family 1A. So nandun siya sa pinakataas ni family number 1. So but it is not a member of that family kasi po yung mga ibang members ni family 1A ay lahat metal. Si hydrogen lang po ang nag-iisang gas doon. Hydrogen is in a class of its own. So kung i-consider natin tong statement na to, parang si hydrogen po ay castaway or loner. Okay, so wala siyang ibang grupo na mapupuntahan. However, since meron siyang isang proton sa kanyang nucleus, that's why ang atomic number niya ay 1, doon po siya inilagay sa taas ni family 1A. So characteristics of hydrogen, it's a gas at room temperature and not a metal. Ayan, so yan yung characteristic natin ni hydrogen. Now, let's continue. So, as I mentioned a while ago, yung ating modern periodic table, nahati po siya sa dalawang group. Yung group A or the A group, which is also called as the representative elements. Tinatawag natin siyang representative elements. Mamaya ipapakita natin kung nasan yung mga yan. And then we have the B group. Okay, yung B group naman po ay yung tinatawag nating transition elements. So we will start our discussion with the A group or the representative elements. Ayan. So let's start with the alkali metals. So take a look here, class. Ito yung parang ito yung periodic table natin. So ito po, yung dalawang yan, group A po yan. It belongs to group A. Ito, group A din po ito. Ayan, group A yan. Nasaan dyan ang group B? Ito po ang group B, class. I-highlight ko yung group B, ha. Ayan, yan yung group B. So, all elements that are found in this region or in this area, ayan po ay ang group B elements. Including this one. Kasama po ito. Ito, kasama to. Okay? So, kasama po yan sa group B elements natin. So, isulat natin. So, ito po ay ito at saka ito. They are the group B. Ayan. So, let's continue. Alkali metals or yung ating group 1A, also known as ayan, group 1A. So, kung titignan nyo sa periodic table, ito siya. Ayan, lalagyan natin ng bilog. Ayan ang group 1A natin. So, meron po tayo dyang elements na 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Meron tayong 6 na elements which are lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, and francium. So, the alkali family is found in the first column of the periodic table. Ayun, yung una. Ito, yung sabi natin kanina. Ayan siya. So, that is group 1A. And then they are shiny, have the consistency of clay, and are easily cut with a knife. So, the third point here, class, basically describes to us the physical and chemical characteristics of alkali metals. Ayan, ano daw siya? Shiny, parang clay, and they are metal pero soft, no? Kasi madali siyang i-cut using a knife. So, they are the most reactive metals. Take note of this. So, in terms of their chemical behavior, ang alkali metals po ang pinaka-reactive. They are considered as the most reactive metals. No? Very explosive yung kanilang reaction with other elements. So, pag sinabi nating reactive, madali siyang let's say, madaling makita yung reaction niya when it comes to relating with other elements. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng reactiveness. So, another description of their physical characteristics, they are slippery appearance and can be cut with a knife, as we had said a while ago. Now, let's continue. Let's continue with Group 1A. Group A, the representative element. So, after Group 1A, pupunta na tayo sa 2A. So, ang 2A po natin, class, is known as the alkaline earth metal. So, ito po siya. Ito. So, take a look here, class. Ito na ngayon yung ating alkaline earth metals, yung column number 2. Ito po ay yung tinatawag nating 2A or alkaline earth metals. So, what are the descriptions, physical properties of elements of alkaline earth metals? So, they are hard, they are denser and stronger than group 1A. Okay? So, ano-ano yung mga elements sa group 2A or alkaline earth metals? So, we have beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, and radium. Ayan. And then next, let's continue with boron. Boron family or 3A. So, kung mapapansin nyo, class, tumalon tayo, no? So, ito yung 1A. Tignan nyo, class, 1A. Ito yung 2A. Tapos, nandito na tayo ngayon, yung 3A. Tinalunan natin yung gitna kasi ito yung group B. Ang dinidiscuss pa lang po natin ngayon ay yung group A. So, dito tayo agad sa 3A. 3A is also known as boron group or the boron family, which includes 5 elements. Ayan. So, we have boron, aluminum, gallium, indium, and thallium. So, boron, the boron family is named after the first element in the family. So, bakit siya tinawag na boron family? Kasi po, yung unang element sa 3A natin ay si boron. So, tinawag siyang boron family. So, this family includes a metalloid, boron, and the rest are metals. Ayan. So, lahat po ng elements dito ay metals. Si boron lang po ang nag-iisang metalloid. Later on, we will discuss what we mean when we say metalloid. Ayan. So, this family includes the most abundant metal in the Earth's crust, which is the aluminum. Next, Group 4A. So, ito na tayo. So, ulitin natin. So, this is 1A, 2A. So, this is 3A. And now, we are in 4A. Ayan, yung color yellow. Yung highlighted ng yellow. So, group 4A is known as the carbon family, which includes the following elements. So, we have calcium, silicon, germanium, tin, antimony, tin, and then flavorium. So, this family includes a non-metal, carbon, metalloids, and metals. So, the element, now, sino yung pinaka-famous dito sa mga elements na to? It's the carbon. Because the element carbon is called the basis of life. There is an entire branch of chemistry devoted to carbon compounds called organic chemistry. So, you will encounter that in your higher grade levels. Ayan. So, we are now in carbon family or group 4A. Now, next, let's continue with group 5A. So, again, so we have here 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, and then ito po is yung ating 5A, yung color green. So, it is known as the nitrogen family. So, it includes nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, tin, and then bismuth. So, the nitrogen family is named after the element that makes up 78% of our atmosphere, which is the nitrogen. This family includes non-metals, metalloids, and metals. Other elements in this family are phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, and bismuth. Next, we have the oxygen family, which is group 6A. Ito na yung group 6A natin. Ayan, so group 6A. It is known as oxygen family, pero yung special name niya ay chalcogens. Ang tawag natin sa kanya ay chalcogens. Now, it includes elements such as oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium, and livermorium. Ayan. Most elements in this family share electrons when forming compounds. Oxygen is the most abundant element in the Earth's crust, and it is extremely active and combines with almost all elements. Next, after 6A, so we will now go to group 7A, which is called as the halogens. So, nandito na tayo. So, 7A na tayo. So, 7A, it includes elements such as fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and astatine. So, the elements in this family, as I mentioned a while ago, are ito po. And then, they react strongly with group 1A to become stable by producing salts. And last, of group 1A are the noble gases or the 8A. So, ito po yung ating 8A class ha. Ang kanyang special name, tinatawag po natin siyang noble gases. So, noble gases, they are colorless gases that are extremely unreactive. Ayun, no? Unreactive. Kanina nakita natin, ito, yung 1A, very reactive. Diba? They are the most reactive. On the other side, dun sa dulo, sa kabilang dulo, they are unreactive. So, pag sinabing unreactive, hindi po sila nag-undergo ng chemical reaction anymore kahit na ma-expose sila into another element. So, there is no reaction at all. They are unreactive. The one important property of the noble gases is their inactivity. Ayan. So, inactivity, hindi na siya reactive. Sometimes, tinatawag din po silang inert. Ayan. Magkakaparehas po ang ibig sabihin yan. Unreactive, inert, and inactivity. So, because they do not readily combine with other elements to form compounds, the noble gases are called inert. Ayan. So, the family of noble gases includes helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon. All the noble gases are found in small amounts in the Earth's atmosphere. Okay, so those are the information about the noble gases. Now, let's continue. Ayan. So, we are now done with Group A. Okay, yung Group A natin, ulitin natin ha. Pag sinabi natin Group A, there are also known as representative element. They are known as the representative element. At makikita natin ilang groups under Group A. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, we have 8 groups in total. Ayan. So, we have 8 groups in total. Okay? Now, let's continue with the B group. Okay, so the next is the B group or Group B elements. As I said a while ago, ang B group natin, they are also known as the transition elements. Okay, so they are known as the transition elements. So they are groups number 3 to 12. Now, some notes about the B group. First is that all of them are metallic elements. Okay? And aside from that, it includes the inner transition metals, which are the lanthanides and the actinides series. Mamaya ituturo ko kung nasan yung inner transition metals, yung lanthanides and actinide series. Okay. So, the transition metals, ayan. So, nakikita nyo dyan sa ating illustration. Ito po siya. So, this is our Group B elements. Lagyan natin dito. Group B elements. Group B elements or the transition metals. At ito po, yung binabanggit kong inner transition metals. Ayan, yung inner transition metals natin. So, the transition elements includes those elements in the B families. So these are the metals you are probably most familiar. So we have the metals that are included in the transition metals or group B metals are copper, tin, zinc, iron, nickel, gold, and silver. So they are good conductors of heat and electricity. So this is one of the general characteristics of metals, being a good conductor of heat and electricity. So now let's start. So rare earth elements or inner transition elements. Ito po iyon, yung binabanggit ko sa inyo kanina. Okay? So rare earth elements or the inner transition elements. So the 30 rare earth elements are composed of the lanthanide and actinide series. One element of the lanthanide series and most of the element in the actinide series are called transuranium. So that's the other term called the other term used to call those elements. They are called transuranium, which means they are synthetic or they are considered as man-made. So take note of that. So most of the elements in the rare earth elements or inner transition elements, synthetic po siya or they are man-made. Okay, so hindi po siya generally makikita in nature. Kailangan muna siyang gawin man-made. So, at saan siya ginagawa? Ginagawa po siya sa mga laboratory ng chemist natin. Ayan. So, let's just recap, no? So, ulitin natin, pag sinabi nating group or family, okay? So, ito po ay yung vertical arrangement ng elements, meaning from top to bottom. Okay? So, nahati po siya sa dalawa, yung group A and yung group B, as we had discussed a while ago. Okay? Now, let's continue with across the periodic table. So, across the periodic table, ang element ang tawag doon ay periods. So, periods are arranged horizontally across the periodic table. So, row. Hindi siya vertical ngayon. So, horizontal siya. Meaning from left going to right. So, kung titignan natin, ito yung ating period number 1. Ito natin. So, ito yung period number 1. Ito yung period number 2. Period number 3. Period number 4. Period number 5. Period number 6. And we have here period number 7. So, pag sinabi nating period, horizontal, from left to right. And they are how many periods? Ayan, so makikita nyo dito, meron tayong 7 periods in total. There are 7 periods in total. Okay? So, ayan. So, reading the periodic table classification. So, periods. Ito po yung mga periods natin. Ang period 1 natin, meron lang 2 elements. So, please refer to your periodic table. Ang period 1 natin, 2 lang yung elements niya. So, ang mga elements na yon ay si hydrogen and si helium. And then, period number 2, we have 8 elements. Period number 3, we have 8 elements also. Period number 4, we have 18 elements. Period number 5 have 18 elements as well. Period number 6 have 32 elements. And last, period number 7 have 32 elements, but then it is said to be incomplete. So, kulang pa. So, anong ibig sabihin nung incomplete pa yung period number 7? Ang ibig sabihin nun, class, meron pang chances or possibility na discover tayo ng panibagong elements or new elements in the near future. At inire-reserve na natin sa kanila yung period number 7. Doon na sila ilalagay. Okay? So, yan. Now, at this point, alam na natin, let's just recap ha. So, there are 2 ways on how elements are arranged in the periodic table. So, pag sinabi nating group or family, that is the vertical from top to bottom. Okay? So, in total, sa periodic table natin, meron tayong 18 groups or families. And then, another way on how elements are arranged in periodic table is what we called as period. So, pag sinabi nating period, element arrangement from left to right. So, that is horizontal arrangement of the elements. So, in the periodic table, meron po tayong 7 periods in total. Ayan. So, at this point, um, I'll be now discussing to you how to use the periodic table to describe metallic properties of certain elements. So, i-discuss natin ngayon yung descriptions and characteristics ni metals, metalloids, and non-metals na kanina pa nating nababanggit. So, pag sinabi nating metals, metals are elements that are generally shiny when smooth, and they are clean, solid at room temperature. So, ito po yung mga general characteristic niya. So, shiny po siya. It means lustrous, solid at room temperature, and they are good conductors of heat and electricity. Ayan. So, yung mga metals natin. So, in the periodic table, we have the alkali metals are the elements in group 1 except for hydrogen and are very reactive. And another group of metals are the alkaline earth metals are in group 2 and are also highly reactive. Tapos makikita rin natin yung transition metals, di ba? Yung transition metals natin, yung nasa gitna ng periodic table. Ayan, so we have the transition metals. The transition elements are divided into transition metals and inner transition metals. The two sets of inner transition metals are called the lanthanide series and the actinide series and are located at the bottom of the periodic table. So now we know the definition or description of metals. Now let's go with nonmetals and metalloids. So nonmetals class. So nonmetals are elements that are generally gases. Kanina solid siya, di ba? So, nonmetals are gases. They are brittle. They are dull-looking solids. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya shiny. And they are poor conductors of heat and electricity. So, examples of nonmetals in the periodic table are the halogens, elements in group 17 or yung ating group 7A, and the noble gases, which are in elements in group number 18 or group 8A. Gases at room temperature are extremely unreactive, yung mga noble gases natin. And then, yung metalloids, pag sinabi nating metalloids, ito po ay yung mga elements na may characteristic ni metal at ni non-metal. So, parang pinagsama si metal at non-metal. That's why they are considered as metalloids. So, another term used to describe metalloids is semi-metal. Okay, may characteristic siya ni metal at may characteristic din siya ni non-metal. So, metalloids such as silicon and germanium have physical and chemical properties of both metals and non-metals. Ayan. So, next. So, how can we use the periodic table in terms of metallic arrangement? So, ang unang-una po nating hahanapin para malocate natin kung metal ba siya, non-metal or metalloid, una nating hanapin ay yung hagdan. Ito po yung hagdan. I-highlight ko yung hagdan kasi. Ayan. Ito yung hagdan natin. Ayun, yung color black. So, what is this staircase, class? So, lahat po ng elements, ito, yung mga elements na yan, lahat po ng elements na nasa hagdan, ayan po ay ang mga metalloids. Ayan. Metalloids po yung mga yan. Yung mga elements na nasa hagdan. Now, lahat po ng elements na nasa left nung staircase natin, all of them are metals. Except dito. Kasi hindi po yan metal. So, this is gas. Yung ating hydrogen. On the other way around, lahat naman po ng elements na nasa right nung hagdan. Ito, yung nasa right nung hagdan, they are considered as non-metals. Ayan. So, ito yung sinasabi nating hagdan class. Ano-ano ba yung mga metalloids? Ito po. Si boron, si silicon, si germanium, si arsenic, si antimony, si tellurium, at si astatine. Ayan. So, ayan lang po yung ating mga, eto, i-highlight natin ha. Eto lang yung mga metalloids. At eto class, lahat ng nasa left niya, eto, except for hydrogen, eto ay mga metals. Ayan. Metals yung lahat ng yan. At lahat naman ng nasa right side nung staircase natin, eto, ayan, lahat ng elements na nasa right side, ayan naman po ay mga non-metals. Okay. So now, let's continue. Ayan. So, periodic trends, metallic properties. So, paano natin i-describe yung metallic properties using our periodic table? So, across a period, ibig sabihin, from left to right, ano daw ang nangyayari sa metallic property ng mga elements? The metallic property of the elements decreases. Take note ha, from left to right or across a period, the metallic property of the element decreases. I-discuss natin yun mamaya. Anong ibig sabihin ng metallic property decreases? And then, down the group, okay, down the group or from top to down or top to bottom, the metallic property of the element increases. Tumataas naman yung kanyang metallic property. Okay? So, ayan. So, the opposite happens to non-metallic properties. So, arrange the following elements in increasing metallic property. So, we have here the following elements. So, carbon, lithium, neon, we have nitrogen, and boron. So, ano yung trend? Nakita natin yung trend kanina. Sabi natin, from left going to right, the metallic property decreases. Anong ibig sabihin nun, class? Yung nasa pinaka-left, eto, let's consider period number 2. Yan, sa period number 2 tayo. So, kung i-consider natin yan, from left going to right, the metallic property decreases. So, yung nasa pinakadulong left, which is lithium, siya po yung pinaka-metallic. Okay? Siya yung pinaka-metallic. So, as we go to the right, anong nangyayari? Bumababa yung metallic property niya. No? So, hanggang makarating tayo dito sa dulo, kabilang dulo, si neon, siya naman po yung pinaka non-metallic. Kasi nga, increasing eh. So, highest metallic activity or metallic property ay si lithium sa period number 2. At ang pinakamababa ang metallic property ay si neon. Okay? Ngayon, i-arrange natin siya. So, take note, increasing. So, pag sinabi nating increasing, low to high. Okay? So, low to high. So, paano natin naayusin to in terms of increasing metallic property? So, let's use the periodic table. Tingin tayo dito sa period number 2. Okay, sa period number 2, sino ba yung nasa pinaka-right side? So, ibig sabihin siya yung pinaka-low, yung metallic property. So, yung carbon ba? Ito si carbon natin. Ito yung lithium natin. Ito yung neon. Ito yung nitrogen. And ito yung boron. So, dun sa 5 element na yan, sino yung nasa pinaka-right? Ayan. So, kung makikita ninyo, it's neon. So, kung i-arrange natin siya, so neon yung una. Ibig sabihin, siya yung pinakamababa na metallic property. Next, sino ang susunod from neon? So, tingnan nyo, ang next sa kanya ay ito, si nitrogen, di ba? So, next is nitrogen. Afterwards, ito na yung next. Ito. So, si carbon. After carbon, we have boron. And lastly, yung dulo sa left, si lithium. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Si neon po ay ang may low metallic property. Lowest metallic property. At si neon, at si lithium naman ay yung may highest metallic property. Ayan. So, next. Ayan. So, arrange the following elements in decreasing metallic property. So, tingin naman tayo dito ngayon. down the group or down a period. So we have radium, beryllium, strontium, barium, and magnesium. So tatandaan natin from top to bottom, ibig sabihin the metallic property increases. So at this level, nasa ano tayo Group 2A. Ayan, sa Group 2A tayo. So decreasing metallic property. So anong ibig sabihin nun? Dito po, yung nasa pinakataas, ito po yung lowest metallic property at yung nasa pinakamaba ay yung highest. Ayan, highest metallic property. Kasi down group, no, pagpababa, nagdi-decrease po yung kanyang, nag-i-increase yung kanyang metallic property. Pataas ng pataas. So kung aayusin natin to, ano ang arrangement niyan? So siyempre, magsisimula tayo, identify natin yung mga elements. So ito si beryllium, i-highlight na lang natin. Si beryllium, si radium, we have strontium, barium, and magnesium. So, ang arrangement daw ay decreasing. Ito, decreasing metallic property. So, pag sinabi nating decreasing, magsisimula tayo sa highest papunta sa lowest. Decreasing So, ngayon, ayusin na natin yung elements natin. So, kung aayusin na natin siya ngayon, i-erase natin yan. So, kung i-arrange na natin siya ngayon, so, ang highest natin ay si radium, di ba? Ra, to be followed by barium. Next ay eto na, strontium. And then next, we have magnesium. At yung least metallic ay si beryllium. Ay, mali. So, ang least metallic na ngayon ay si beryllium. So, ito yung arrangement natin. Ito yung tamang arrangement. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Yung radium ay yung highest metallic property. Siya yung pinaka-metal. Highest metallic property. And si beryllium naman ay yung may lowest metallic property. Ayan. So, siya yung may lowest metallic property. Okay? Now, next. Ayan. Another periodic trend, aside from metallic property, is reactivity. So, pag sinabi nating reactivity, class, across a period, okay? So, across a period, from left to right, ano daw ang nangyayari sa reactivity? So, reactivity decreases. Bumababa ang reactivity natin. And, down the group, so pag sinabi nating down the group, from top to down, the reactivity increases. Pataas ng pataas yung kanyang reactivity. So, example. Ayan. So, arrange the following elements in increasing reactivity. So, kung ito yung reactivity natin, take note, from left going to right, the reactivity decreases. So, lahat ng element na nasa left, nasa left, nandito, ano daw ang kanyang reactivity? So, nandito po yung highest reactivity. Highest reactivity yung nasa left. At habang pumupunta tayo sa right, nandito naman ang mga elements na may lowest. Ayan, lowest reactivity. Lowest ang reactivity dyan. So, ngayon, meron tayong dito. So, sample. So, arrange the following elements in increasing reactivity. So, take note, increasing. So, pag sinabi nating increasing, magsisimula tayo sa low, pataas. Low to high. Ayan. So, tayo ay nasa period 3. Ito, period 3. Yan, dito tayo. So, i-highlight natin yung mga elements involved. So, we have phosphorus, silicon, we have argon, sodium, sulfur, and aluminum. Ayan. So, paano natin yan aayusin yung mga elements na yan? In increasing reactivity from low to high. So, sabi natin kanina, yung nasa pinaka-right, no? Nasa pinaka-right side, siya yung pinaka-lowest. At kung titignan natin yung period 3, sino yung nasa pinaka-right? Ayun. So, ang nasa pinaka-right ay eto. 'Di ba? Si argon. So, magsisimula tayo ngayon with argon. So, we have argon. And then next, sinong susunod? Si sulfur. After sulfur, we have phosphorus. And then next is silicon, aluminum, and lastly, we have sodium. So, ito po yung tamang arrangement or yung tamang sequence. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Si argon po, yung ating lowest reactivity. Lowest ang kanyang reactivity. At si sodium po ang yung element na may highest reactivity. Ayan, siya yung may highest reactivity, si sodium. So, ayan yung tamang sequence niya. Now, next. So, arrange the following elements in decreasing reactivity. So, ulitin natin, ano ba yung trend? So, down the period, no? So, down a group or family, pababa. Anong nangyayari sa reactivity? Increases. Ibig sabihin, yung element na nasa taas, ito yung lowest reactivity. Lowest reactivity yung nasa pinakataas. At habang bumababa tayo sa periodic table, ang kanyang reactivity ay tumataas. So, pag nasa pinakababa na tayo, ito ngayon ay yung may highest reactivity. Ayan. So, ang example natin. So, arrange the following elements in decreasing reactivity. So, ano daw? Decreasing. So, pag sinabing decreasing, pababa. So, magsisimula tayo sa high hanggang siya ay maging low. High to low arrangement. So, tingin tayo dito sa carbon group. Eto, dito tayo kay carbon group. Dito. So, nandyan yung mga elements na i-arrange natin. So, i-highlight natin yung mga elements. So, we have UUQ. We have germanium. We have carbon. We have tin. We have silicon. And we have lead. Ayan. So, i-arrange natin siya from high to low. So, paano natin, ano yung pinaka-high? Sino yung highest sa kanila? Yung nasa pinakababa. 'Di ba? Yung nasa pinakababa na group na yan ay si UUQ. So, we will start with UUQ. Siya kasi yung highest. So, next. Sino ang may next na mataas na reactivity? It will be lead. So, it will be Pb. After lead, we will have tin. Next is germanium, silicon, and lastly, we have carbon. So, ito po yung correct sequence niya. If we will arrange it in decreasing reactivity. So, yung UUQ po, siya po yung may highest reactivity. Ayan, highest ang reactivity niya. And si carbon, ayan, so UUQ ang highest reactivity. At si carbon naman po ay yung may lowest reactivity. Kasi siya ay nasa pinakataas. Ayan. So, yan po yung mga patterns na tinitignan natin. No? Reactivity and then the metallic property. So, now, let's try some examples here. Kung natatandaan nyo yung groups natin and family. So, let's start with Cr. Element Cr is also known as chromium. So, we have chromium. Anong group number niya and name? So, hanapin natin si chromium sa periodic table. Ayun, si chromium. Okay? So, anong group niya? So, kung tutuloy-tuloy natin yan, so group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So, anong group number niya? Group number 6. Ayan. Group number 6. At nasaan siya? Nandito siya o nasa gitna? Anong ang tawag natin dito? Sa mga elements na nandito sa gitna? Ayan. Ang tawag natin dito ay transition elements. Or transition elements, or also known as metal. Ayan. Next. Ano ang period number niya? So, period number niya, bilang tayo. Ano bang period number ni chromium? So, period number 1, period number 2, period number 3, and then period number 4. So, si chromium po ay nasa period number 4. Yan, period number 4 si chromium. Ano ang classification ni chromium? Metal, metalloids, or non-metal? So, i-identify na natin yung staircase. Ito, yung hagdan natin. 'Di ba? So, ano siya? Nasa left siya. Ayan o, nasa left siya nung hagdan. So, ibig sabihin siya po ay metal. Ayan, yung kanyang classification. Now, next. SE. Ayan. So, nasan si SE? Hanapin natin muna sa periodic table si SE. Ito si SE. Okay? So, lagyan natin ng numbers. So, we have here group 1, group 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So, ano ang group number niya? Ayun, group number 16. Or, another name is, di ba, ito si 1A. Group 1A. So, this is group 1A. Group 2A. 3A. 4A. 5A. 6A. 7A. And then, ito yung 8A. Yung group number 18. So, ano siya? Group number 16 or group 6A. Okay? Ano nga yung special name ni group 6A? They are known as the chalcogens. Ayan. So, they are known as the chalcogens. Now, punta na tayo sa period number. Aburay muna natin yung mga numbers na sinulat natin. Ayan. So, anong period number niya? So, bilangin natin. So, ang period number ni selenium ay 1, 2, 3, 4. So, anong period number? So, the answer is 4. Ayan. Anong classification ni selenium? O, tignan natin. Hanapin natin yung staircase. Ayan, burahin lang natin to. Hanapin naman natin ngayon yung staircase. Ito yung staircase natin. Ayan. So, nasaan siya ng staircase? Left or right? So, it's obvious na nasa right siya. So, anong classification ni selenium? So, siya po ay isang non-metal. Ayan. So, non-metal po si selenium. Next. Example. Kr. So, Kr is krypton. Okay? So, hanapin natin si Kr. Ito si krypton. I-highlight natin siya. Ayan si krypton. So, ilagay ulit natin yung numbers. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So, 1A, di ba? Group 1A, Group 2A, Group 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A, and then we have here 8A. Ayan. So, tignan natin. Anong group number and name niya? Ayan. Group number 18 or Group 8A. So, anong special name ni Group 8A? Yung sinabi natin kanina? Noble gases. Ayan, noble gas ang kanyang special name. So, hanapin natin yung kanyang period number. So, burayin natin yung mga numbers here. So, ano kaya ang period number ni Krypton? Ayan. So, ito yung group number 1, group number 2, period number 1, period number 2, period number 3, and anong period na? Period number 4. So, ang period niya ay 4. Okay, so period 4 siya. Now, ano ang kanyang classification? So, i-highlight natin yung ating hagdanan. Yung staircase natin. So, nasan siya? Nasa right. 'Di ba? Nasa right siya. So, siya ay example ng non-metal. Non-metal siya. Now, next. Ru. Ayan. So, hanapin natin si Ru sa ating periodic table. Nasaan po ba yan si Ru? Okay, ito. Rutherfordium. Highlight natin. Ayan, si Ru. Okay. So, lagyan ulit natin ng number. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So, anong group niya? Group number 8, 'di ba? So, group number 8 siya. At nandito siya sa mga elements na to. Etong mga elements na to ay tinatawag nating transition elements or transition metals. Ayan. Transition elements or metal. Period number. So, bilangin natin ano ang period number ni Ru. Ayan. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ayan. So, ang period number niya ay 5. Okay, period number 5. Ano ang kanyang classification? Is it metal, non-metal, or metalloid? Hanapin ulit natin yung staircase. Ayan. So, siya ay nasa left. Ayun o, nasa left siya. So, si Ru ay metal. Ru is considered as metal. Last example. Ayan. So, Ce. Let's have Ce. Ito. Ito si Ce class. Ayan. So, Ce. So, kanyang group number and name. Lagyan natin ng number. So, we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Ayan, anong group niya? Group number, ito oh. Group number 4. So, anong special name ni group number 4? So, inner transition elements. So, ang tawag natin sa kanya ay inner transition elements. Ayan, inner transition metal or elements. And then, anong series ito? Ayan o, nasa lanthanide series siya. Ayan, lanthanide series. So, next ay yung kanyang period number. So, burahin natin yung mga numbers dyan. Ano ang kanyang period number? So, bilangin natin. So, period number ay, ito yung 1. Ayan, number 1, number 2, number 3, period number 4, period 5, period 6, and period number 7. Ayan. So, lagay natin yung numbers ng period So, ito yung period 1, period 2, period 3, period 4, period 5, period 6, and then period 7. So, nasaan si Cesium? Sir, bakit ganon? Period 8, period 8 po ba? Hindi. Kasi po, etong lanthanide series, nakasiksik po siya dito. Originally. Kasi kung titingnan ninyo, atomic number 55, 56, yung susunod ay 71. 'Di ba? So, nasaan ngayon yung 57 to 70? Ayun siya. Nandito siya ngayon sa dulo. So, 55, ang bali ang ano niyan, ang sequence niyan, eto. 55, 56, and then bababa dito sa lanthanide series, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. Tapos, babalik ulit tayo dito kay 71. Okay? So, ganun din si actinide series. Kasi kay actinide series, 87, 88, tapos ang susunod ay 103. So, nasan si 89 to 102? So, ito yung 89 to 102 natin sa actinide series. So, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, and then babalik tayo dito. 103. Ayan, hanggang doon. Okay? So, anong period niya? Eto. So, period number 6. Ayan. So, period 6 siya. So, anong classification? O, burahin natin yung mga numbers. So, anong classification niya? Hanapin natin yung staircase. Ayan. So, kung mapapansin nyo, nasaan siya? Eto. Si CE. Ayan. Nasaan siya? Nasa left. No? Nasa left siya ng staircase. So, siya po ay isang example ng metal. Ayan. Okay? So, that ends our lesson for today. So, paki-answer po yung mga activities na ilalagay ko sa Google Classroom. So, yung mga examples na ipinakita ko sa inyo dito, ganun nyo po siya sasagutin. So, panoorin nyo po itong video muna bago kayo magpunta doon sa inyong sasagutin. Okay? So, goodbye!